Welcome back into Cullman Today. I'm Debbie Wood. Our very special guest this morning, Jeremy Easter. If you saw our first segment today, you know that Jeremy, his history, of course, he's so blessed. His family's so blessed. I'm blessed to have met him this morning. But he's had a lot of. You've been sober since 2006. Mm-hmm. Life is good. We all have struggles, and like you said, you know, God says we're going to have struggles.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
That's just part of it. But Teen Challenge, how did you learn about Teen Challenge?
Well, as I said, my brother went through, and I saw the power of God working through the program in him. And by seeing that, when I got saved, I began to be involved volunteering and things, and then have been working with them for a couple of years now, and so it's a great program.
Well, those at home that maybe, and I know a little bit about it, but not enough to be knowledgeable, tell us how it actually works. And is it in all of the different counties in Alabama, or just a few? Or?
Well, we have centers in Bay Minette and Selma, and then in Lincoln, and those are the men's centers. And then the women are all at the Hayden Center, and so they actually come up and visit the churches around Cullman. I go to Daystar, and they'll come to Daystar some, but they visit different churches and stuff. But yeah, it's a 12-month, not a rehab, but a 12-month Christian discipleship program for men and women struggling with addictions and things. And so just a real radical program. We just our guys and girls get Jesus from the morning to the night, and we see all kinds of things restored. Yes, ma'am.
And do they, do they? I don't know if you say admit, but do they enter the program themselves, or do they have to have a loved one enter them into the program, or how does that work?
It's just different. We'll have somebody call and themselves and need help, or we'll have a family member call. A lot of times it'll be somebody will come to, and this is my brother's story, somebody will come to Teen Challenge in lieu of some type of court case or something. They'll be, instead of a year in jail, a judge will court order them to complete a year in Teen Challenge, and that's what happened with my brother. That's the reason he started, and now here years later, he's through with his court cases, and so that'll be the reason sometimes. It's but yeah, they go on our website there and get the application.
Get the application. So our judges locally then know about the program, and they can refer them to it, to that program. All right, a 12-month. And what actually happens during that? Say, on a weekly basis, what kind of routine?
Well, sort of. A little day in the life, like they'll wake up, obviously shower, things like that, and then we begin with a prayer time in the mornings, and then of course breakfast. But they begin with a prayer time, and then they go through classes all day long. There'll be classes on different concepts of living, the biblical way and stuff like that, and obviously staying away from old influences and things like that, and then. Our guys go out to work some too, which I think is a good thing, because a lot of times you need to kind of relearn that somewhat, and we teach them stuff like that. And they're going to church several days a week. They have chapel services in the evenings.
Do they work too?
They do. We have different companies who we very much screen. We make sure that they're the right folks. They can hire our guys and girls, because our program costs are so low, it sort of kind of offsets the cost of the program and all.
Right,
so,
wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and once they, I guess somebody monitors each group of folks have a counselor, and they're monitored. Are they graded? I mean,
they are. They all have a. When I began, was a case manager, and I was part time because I was driving down to Selma a couple days a week. So I had about half a caseload. I'd have maybe 5 or 6 guys, and they would report to me each week for their counseling session, as would any of them with their counselor, and do their counseling session with their counselor. But they also they sit in classes, and we do a curriculum called Personal Studies for New Christians. And from those courses and how they answer those questions and all, their counselor will have their work, and their counselor can read that curriculum, and it kind of helps them to know how to help that person. And it's all biblical, and everything is.
Wonderful. Now, what part does the family play, like moms, dads, siblings? Can they visit, or is it strictly 12 months without family?
Yeah, no, they can. From memory, it's been about a year since I've been a counselor person, but or however you would say it, case manager. But they, after 30 days, they get a couple of an hour on-site visit with their family, and then it moves up to an 8-hour pass, and then after they've been in a program for a while, once they are passing their test, and drug test and all that stuff, and doing the right things, then it ends up being, they move on up after a while to a weekend pass, and then of course they're tested when they come back to the program after that weekend.
Oh, really? So it is and they know that.
Yeah,
so
they know that. Right. Yes, ma'am. There's a lot of accountability through drug screens and things like that, which is a good thing. Yes,
ma'am. It really is, isn't it? And then at the end, when they're ready to graduate, so to speak, what does take place at the end of that 12-month?
Well, they a lot of them, a lot of times, and as was the case with my brother, a lot of them will stay on with us as an intern. That's not something that happens every time, and it's those certain ones that would fit that bill. But then afterwards, we have family support groups and stuff like that, which is all available on our website and stuff.
Right. And and it's easy to. All you have to do is go online. If you have a computer, Google it and teenchallenge.com, and I think is that right?
It's alabamateenchallenge.org.
Okay, good deal. .org. So go online and check it out. You probably can, if someone needs to actually go and see the facility in Hayden before they recommend that to a loved one, can they do that too?
I don't know that I've been asked that question a million times. You could definitely call. It's
confidentiality.
I would think so, because we do have different groups that come in and do chapel services, things like that.
Okay.
Suzanne Smith is a real great lady, and her husband Dwayne. They're both friends of Misty and I. And you could call down there and speak with her, and she might, if there was a time or something like that.
We can put that number on the screen too, so you can see that. Well, we want to end our show today with you giving us your testimony and maybe just sharing a little bit with our audience before we end today, because what a pleasure it's been to meet you, Jeremy.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep you in my prayers,
yes,
you and Misty and your brother. What's his name?
Jason. And his wife Tiffany and Julia and Jonah are their two kids.
Precious.
Yeah, they're sweet as can be, cute kids.
Oh, I bet. Gosh, how wonderful. Well, we'll just give you an opportunity now to sort of end our show with whatever you're thinking.
My testimony, I come from everything you could think of, like I say, alcohol, weed, and meth, and pain pills, and methadone clinics, and everything else like that, and just was definitely a person with absolutely no hope. Had destroyed just about every relationship in my life, and felt worthless, because that's kind of how you feel. And then when in 2006, when I at Daystar gave my heart to the Lord, God's really just totally turned that around, and we definitely have a God of restoration that believes in comeback stories, because that's what He's done in my life. Not only when you're living like that, not only maybe you struggle with addiction and stuff like that, but you're also just not really a good person. You don't really care as much about the people around you. You're not you're just not really a responsible person. And what God's done in my life, when He turned me around, not only did He take away that addiction, but He made me where I could be, a good husband, because I am so in love with my wife. I I definitely am goofy as can be, mess up every day, and she wants to slap me around probably, but, I could never be committed in a relationship before that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't, be somebody that you could count on. But now, like for one thing, my wife, we went through the cancer treatment and all, and we would get up every morning and so early and drive all the way to Birmingham, and I would help her as she was sick through the treatments and all. And the reason is God changed my life and turned me around to where I could be a husband that loved somebody and could care for somebody, and also a good son to my mom and dad. That was one of the first things He restored. We're actually friends now and work together, and really all I wanted was their money and things like that before,
A lot of hugging and kissing going on, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have very good
mom,
parents.
Probably just a lot of tears, though, were shed.
Yeah, oh yes, ma'am. They were, like I say, that was the first thing God restored, and we've been pretty close ever since. So.
Absolutely. What a wonderful testimony this morning, Jeremy. And we hope that this show today, the first segment and this segment also, has blessed you and your family. And know that if you're out there and you're going through tough times, or have a family member going through some of these same things, that there's hope. There's hope, and there is a way to that your life can be changed. I mean, Jeremy is a wonderful testimony. just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today to Cullman Today. Thank you to Jeremy. Thank you to your sweet wife, Miss Dee, to your family for sharing you with us and for sharing with our entire community. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Well, thank you so much for having me out today. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Jeremy. And of course, thanks for watching. We hope you have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.